So it is day two at Disney in LA, and what a difference a day makes. It is beautiful. The sun is shining. It's in the low 20s. It's like a perfect LA autumn day, and it's just stunning. The people are around. There's music in the air. It feels awesome. I'm actually over at California Adventure today, or at least for this morning. If you don't know, there's actually two parks in LA. There's Disneyland and then California Adventure. They're like right across from each other. I'm probably going to go back over to the main park this afternoon, but I'm loving the vibe of California Adventure. In a weird way, it feels like a backlot or a movie set. Like it feels like what your promised Los Angeles is going to be, which is probably why they call it California Adventure. You know, I did Adventures Campus and Guardians Mission Breakout this morning, and for a person who doesn't particularly like those kind of rides, I loved it. Important Simmers knowledge. Those things are water fountains. They're literally like drinking fountains. Those tanks. I'm gonna keep that in mind. So you can't tell, I'm currently at Disneyland. And if you also can't tell, I'm kind of a bigger guy. So I thought I'd share with you how I found being at Disney as a larger person. Because I'll be honest with you, I have had problems in the past, especially last time I went to Movie World in Australia. There was a lot of stuff I couldn't ride simply because I was too big for the rides. Now, everyone who'd been to Disneyland before kept telling me that, you're not going to have a problem at all, but I was still really nervous, especially because I'm not a person who usually goes on like big roller coasters and sort of big movement rides and stuff like that, but, this could possibly be the only time I'm here. So I wanted to do some of the really iconic ones like Space Mountain or, the Matterhorn. I really wanted to ride Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, but unfortunately it's closed at the moment, which is a shame because, I'd like to make sure that, any potential kidney stones are dislodged. You can look that up. There's literally been studies. But back to the question at hand, how have I found going on rides? And I've been on pretty much all the rides I'm planning to now. How did I find that as a bigger person? And the answer to that is absolutely fine. Most of the rides at Disneyland use seatbelts, and you will get very used to them asking you to pull on the yellow tag so that you can show that your seatbelt is secure. And the seatbelts have plenty of slack. They obviously tighten up, but I have not once encountered one that I didn't fit. There are a couple of rides where my legs were a little snug, particularly the Matterhorn, but it wasn't uncomfortable and it didn't make the ride unsafe. The few rides that do have knee bars, which is usually where you strike a problem when you're like a bigger person, the knee bars come down to like the position that you want them in rather than having to come down to a designated spot. So as soon as it's tight for you, it will lock in. All you need to make sure is that it's actually locked. But again, I didn't really encounter any problems. Haunted Mansion was a tiny little bit snug, but again, that had more to do with my legs than my bulbousness. Is that a word? I don't know if it's worth mentioning also talking about food as a bigger person while you're here, because you may be on a diet or on some sort of, health regime to try and reduce your weight. I'll be honest with you, I actually haven't eaten a remarkable amount once I've been here. For some reason, my, Mounjaro has supersized since I've been here and I just haven't felt particularly hungry. The thing I've found really interesting about Disney is that there aren't a lot of takeaway options. There's a couple around, and you've obviously got the street vendors that sell churros and pretzels and that sort of stuff. But I haven't really encountered places that sell just hot dogs or hot chips or anything like that. So if you want more substantial food, you usually end up sitting at a restaurant kind of setup. And I guess that gives you a moment to actually think about what you're ordering. I will note that with drinks, and it's important to stay hydrated. With the exception of water, there's not a remarkable amount of healthy options. I don't drink Coke much in real life, but I've been drinking a fair amount of Coke here, so that's probably not great. But all in all, it's a pretty large person-friendly environment, which makes sense because, let's be honest, it's America.